Hey everybody, thanks for stopping in and checking out the channel. Wanted to cover an article that I saw just the other day in Inc. magazine. The article was talking about integrity is a skill or a trait needed when hiring new employees. And they interviewed Warren Buffett. And one of the things that Warren Buffett said was, someone once said that in looking for people to hire, you look for three qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. And if you don't have the first, the other two will kill you. You think about it, it's true. If you hire someone without integrity, you really want them to be dumb and lazy. The value of integrity is never, it's never understated by someone who's been burned on that side of the house before. The article highlighted some great questions to ask when looking or interviewing new employees. The idea of asking scenario-based questions or hypotheticals where you're going to ask the employee for feedback on what they would do in a given situation gives them the ability to answer the best possible way for the situation. There's a shift moving to behavioral-based questions, which ask more concrete or facts-based answers. They're looking for things like, in this situation, how did you react in your old place of employment or in other places of employment? That's a huge shift that goes along with the mindset shift of trying to figure out concrete answers rather than hypotheticals. The article highlighted some great questions to ask when looking for new employees. One of the questions that it asked was, when was the last time you broke the rules? What was the situation and what did you do? This question is amazing and it's one of my favorites. The reason this question is such a good one is because it allows the interviewer the possibility to see a magnitude of reactions. The magnitude of reactions could be anything from a shift in their baseline from being engaged to a microfacial expression being a smile flash across their face, or it could be almost a fearful reaction that's really quick while they process the question and start to figure out how to form their answer. Those small microfacial expressions or those small changes in the baselines, we would call them anomalies, are what we're going to look for on the nonverbal communication side of the house, coupled with the behavioral-based question. The second question that comes up that was one of my favorites, there were 12 total questions in the article, and I picked my top 3. If you ever got into a bind with a client, would you be willing to tell a little white lie to help us out? This question is a full-blown winner in my opinion. With this question, you would presume that the average person would have to take a second to gather their thoughts and figure out a time or figure out how they would feel putting their integrity on the line for the company. The average rational adult would take a second to process that question and try to figure out how they're going to produce an answer. Most rational adults really would question their own personal values in a situation like that and decide whether or not they're willing to say that their integrity is questionable enough that they're willing to lie for the company. Now, on the flip side of this, if there's no hesitation and the person answers right away, yes or no, then that person has already gone through the mental capacity or the mental process to think about that question and figure out what their answer would be. If it's a no, then you know maybe they hold themselves to some high standards, or they're worried about saying yes in the fact that maybe you as the interviewer will look less of them. And that's some hard ground. If they automatically say yes, then that's probably not someone who is telling the truth to you in every aspect of what they're doing. That's my personal opinion. The third question is a pretty good one as well. What are the characteristics exhibited by the best boss you have ever had or wished you have had? Now, this question can be asked in two different ways. It can be asked, what are some traits of the best boss you've ever had? And what were those traits? Or it can be asked on the opposite side. What were some of the traits of the worst boss you've had? And why would you not want to work for them? This question, no matter how you ask it, can be taken two different ways. If the person gives you the best traits that they've had in a manager or a leader, that means that person will more than likely try to mirror those positive traits. So if they answer things like integrity, leadership, openness, those are traits for the best manager they've had that they're going to try to emulate in their position themselves. On the flip side, if you ask the question, what are some traits of the worst boss you've ever had? Those are going to be traits that people are going to not want to follow through with or not want to do. And as humans, we tend to learn more information and change our behavior more frequently based off of negative interactions. So asking what some negative traits are, what some traits of some of the worst leaders they've had, does is that gives them the ability to then highlight areas in which they disapprove of the way they were managed, and that will give you not only ideas into how they will be, because they shouldn't follow those traits, but it will be how well they fit into the culture of the company itself based upon some of the traits that they've seen on the negative side from other roles. Changing the mindset from placing the candidate in a hypothetical situation to more of a behavioral based or a concrete answer situation, asking about what they've done in the past and the actions they actually took is a huge shift in the mindset for hiring. With that mindset shift, you can easily start to pay attention to the nonverbal communication or the nonverbal cues that someone is giving off, and that adds just an additional layer of information that you as the interviewing party have to make your decision. I would highly recommend, if you don't have any experience with nonverbal communication, you just take a couple of seconds, 30 seconds a day to start creating your baseline of behavior on the people around you. And that 30 seconds a day will quickly turn into being able to identify the anomalies, as well as creating clusters of anomalies that you can articulate why it is, well, what it is you saw and what changes happened around what topics. That is information that you can use to make better decisions, have better communication with your team, and become a better leader overall. Thank you guys for watching today. Just want to take a second and let you know you can grab our free ebook, Baselines of Behavior, The Art of Nonverbal Communication, at our webpage, www.primarysc.com, as in primary Sierra Charlie.com. The ebook is free. All you got to do is put your email address in and it'll be sent right over to you. If something happens and you put your email in and you don't get the ebook, please shoot me an email at luke@primarysc.com. Let me know that you put yourself on the email list, but the ebook didn't come through, and I'll forward it right over to you. Thank you guys. I appreciate your time.